Ever wonder how you check every box and still feel empty inside? Welcome to Rewiring Health, the space for the woman who holds it all together on the outside while quietly losing pieces of herself on the inside. The woman who fawns to keep the peace, overachieves to feel worthy, and sacrifices her needs to avoid disappointing anyone. Here, you will learn a new way. Each episode will help you understand your nervous system, break the patterns that drain you, and rebuild a life rooted in self-respect, calm confidence, and genuine inner peace. I'm Kelly Kessler, and this is your homecoming. Let's dive in. What happens when you've spent years being the person everyone else needed you to be? And one day you realize you're not even in the room with yourself anymore. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through what that actually looks like, the subtle ways self-abandonment shows up in your relationships, how it pulls you into roles you didn't consciously choose, and what begins to shift when you start coming back to yourself. Because this isn't always obvious when you're in it. It can feel like you're being loving or responsible or doing the right thing. And then one day, something in you starts feeling off. You start feeling more disconnected, tired, pulled away from yourself. And if that sounds all too familiar to you, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Kelly, and if we haven't met, I help women who have spent years navigating relational tension, overfunctioning emotionally, and quietly leaving themselves in the process. Learn how to come back to themselves in a way that feels steady, grounded, and real. And before we go further, I want to give you something that will actually help you start seeing this in your own life. I created a free self-abandonment audit, and it's designed to help you recognize in a really clear and honest way where you might be abandoning yourself in relationships and day-to-day patterns. Because the truth is that a lot of this is not obvious, especially when you're inside of it. It's subtle, it's patterned, but the thing is, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's why it's so powerful to recognize this in yourself. You can download that in the link below. And for now, I want to talk to you about something I've been moving through myself. Because for a long time, I didn't see it either. I thought I was being loving. I thought I was being responsible. I thought I was doing what a good person does in relationships. And what I was actually doing was leaving myself behind. I spent years directing my energy towards being the person that other people expected me to be. I became really attuned to their emotions. I scanned the room. I could sense that shift in energy, and then I would take it on as my own problem to fix. I would try to get a sense of where they were so that I could smooth it over and anticipate what was going to happen before it even happened. I learned how to adjust. I learned how to soften, to say things just the right way. I've got really good at curating the words just so that things would stay smooth and things would go on and there would be no disruption. And the thing is, without even realizing it, I took on the role of buffering everyone else's emotions. I relinquished my own care. I didn't even realize the toll it was taking on me to take on that burden. I became the middle space, the one who held everything together. And what that meant was my attention was always directed outward, never inward. And to be honest, there was very little left for me to actually be myself, to feel joy in my own life, because I felt like I was too busy navigating all the things that I felt like I had to take care of. And while it's subtle in the beginning, it wasn't subtle when it started to break me. It had become really painful and really in my face. And looking back, I truly believe it almost had to get to that point so I could actually see it for what it was. Because before that, before it hit the fan, I almost felt like I was blind to it. I really knew no other way of being. And I did not realize the cost it had until it got to that point. And what I started to notice was that the more emotional work I did, the more was expected of me. And the more I held, the more I was relied on to hold it. And it became this kind of sand trap. I felt like I was sinking deeper and deeper with nothing to grasp to pull me out of it. It felt like I was so weighed down by everything that I was experiencing. I didn't even know how to get out of that situation that I had in my life and had, in hindsight, created in my life by accepting that. And at some point, I realized something that changed everything for me. That in the process of keeping the peace with everyone else, I had left myself behind. It was in these small moments that slowly chipped away at my essence, that took away my joy, took away my peace, and I didn't even realize it until I was so far in it. And I didn't feel like I was connected to my needs. I didn't feel like I was connected to my feelings. I felt like everything that was me came secondary to keeping everything outside of me going. And that's when I realized that the only one who could actually protect me was me. But that it's hard to sit with. That takes a lot of courage. And if you're in this, you know that. And if you're facing that reality that no one's going to come to save you but yourself, it can be a hard reality to face. But yet, also one of the most empowering journeys you can go on right now to realize that you have that power within you always. And once you harness it, that's when everything shifts. And that's where things started to change for me too. And it wasn't because everything around me shifted. It wasn't because everything got smooth and that my life just turned around miraculously. It was because I stopped abandoning myself. I stopped allowing my energy to be wasted on situations that I truly had no control of and that really was not mine to solve. I stopped trying to manage everybody else's emotional experience and I started to honor my own. I started to recognize how my nervous system was responding, and I cared about that more than making sure that everybody else in the situation was comfortable. And the thing is that this did not feel comfortable at first. And to be honest, there are many days it still doesn't feel comfortable. But just like building a muscle, it takes one repetition to get started, and then another, and then another, and another. And over time, you just become much better at navigating that, at being able to have the capacity to handle that. And that's what I've experienced in my life. And through that, there was guilt, there was tension, there was aftermath, there was a pull to come back to the person I was for everyone. There was a lot in that process. And by no means do I downplay the complexity of it because it's tough. When you get used to playing a role that everyone expected from you, the minute you take yourself out of it, there's a lot of backlash that comes along with that. But in it, there's something in me that knew that I could not keep on leaving myself anymore. I owed it to myself to be there for me. And if you're listening to this and something in you feels like it's tightening, or there's a recognition in your body that this is also your situation, you might be the one who knows exactly how everyone else is feeling. You might be the one who adjusts yourself to keeping things smooth. You might be the one who replays conversations in your head at 2 a.m. And you might feel responsible for how every single thing lands, curating words perfectly to make sure nobody's disrupted by your thoughts and your feelings and your truth. And maybe no one has ever taught you how to stay with yourself through it. And this is not about becoming someone who doesn't care. It's not about numbing yourself to the situation. It's about becoming someone who doesn't leave herself through it all. Someone who can feel the discomfort without feeling the need to immediately try to fix it. You become someone who can let other people have their emotions without taking them on as your responsibility. And you become someone who can stay anchored even when things feel so unsteady around you. There's a sense of a solid, grounded presence in you. And even more so sometimes when things become even more complicated. This work is subtle, but yet it changes everything. And a lot of it starts with just recognizing where you've been leaving yourself behind. If you haven't already, you can download the free self-abandonment audit below. It's a powerful place to begin seeing these patterns clearly and starting to shift them in a way that actually lasts. And if you're in this season of learning how to stay with yourself, I want you to know that you're not doing anything wrong. You're learning something most people were never taught. And that takes a lot of courage to step into this new version of yourself and choose it today, choose it tomorrow, choose it the next day, and be there for you through it all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If something in this episode stirred your truth, reminded you of your worth, or helped you see your patterns with more compassion, you're already rewiring your life. Remember, you don't have to earn your place, overgive to be valued, or shrink to keep the peace. You get to honor your voice, you get to protect your energy, you get to live aligned with who you really are. If you're ready to go deeper, explore more tools, or join a community of women walking this same path, head over to drkellykessler.com. Everything you need to continue this journey is waiting for you. Until next time, take a deep breath, trust yourself, and keep choosing the version of you who feels like home.